Do you know about the feared Hells Angels? What do they do? For what they became such famous? Come, let's know who they are and what they do. Stay till the end. The word feared Hells Angels serves as a warning about the threat of these illegal motorbike gangs to society. The Hells Angels are more than simply a bunch of motorbike enthusiasts who like to ride around and have fun. They are a vicious, criminal gang that has caused a considerable deal of damage. The former commander of the Berlin chapter of the Hells Angels motorcycle club in Germany, Kadir Padir, is well known for his involvement in organized crime. He was born in Turkey in 1979 and moved to Germany as a young boy. In 2010, Padir became a member of the Hells Angels, and not long after, he rose to the position of leader of the group's Berlin chapter at the Rings. The gang's involvement in many illegal operations, such as drug trafficking, extortion, and money laundering, increased under his leadership. Padir and many other Hells Angels members in Berlin were killed in 2014 after being arrested on charges of drug trafficking by organized crime. Padir was accused of ordering the slaying of a rival gang leader in 2013. During the trial, Padir and his co-defendants maintained their innocence, claiming that they were victims of a politically motivated conspiracy. However, in 2019, Padir and 7 other members of the Hells Angels were found guilty of the charges and were sentenced to lengthy prison terms. In the world of the Hells Angels, where reputation is currency, Lena Lethal Lawson's name was worth its weight in gold. Hailing from the cold, unforgiving landscapes of Alaska, Lena was a woman of few words but many actions. Each action, however, was precise, calculated, and invariably lethal, earning her a notorious reputation within the outlaw biker community. From her early years, Lena displayed a natural aptitude for mechanics. She could dismantle and reassemble an engine before she was old enough to drive. The skill, coupled with a keen intellect and an unshakable determination, made Lena an asset to the Hells Angels. Her ability to repair and modify bikes was unparalleled, and she soon became a respected figure within the club. Former member of the Canadian Hells Angels motorcycle club, Maurice Boucher, is well known for his involvement in organized crime and for being the club's leader in Quebec. He was born in Quebec, Canada on June 21, 1953. Early in the 1980s, Boucher joined the Hells Angels and rose fast through the ranks to take charge of the group's Montreal branch. Under his direction, the Hells Angels rose to prominence in Quebec as one of the most powerful gangs engaged in extortion, drug trafficking, and other crimes. Boucher was renowned for his brutal methods and readiness to resort to violence when necessary. He was also a skilled negotiator and was able to use his influence to broker deals with other criminal organizations. In 1994, Boucher was arrested on charges of slang drug trafficking and conspiracy. He was accused of ordering the slaying of several individuals, including 2 prison guards and a rival gang leader. Boucher was eventually found guilty of the charges and was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole for 25 years. In the motorcycle underworld, fear is often the greatest weapon. For Molly Mad Dog McDougal, fear was not only a weapon but a cloak she wore with pride, known for her volatile temper and relentless ferocity. Molly was a force of nature that commanded respect and fear in equal measure. Born into poverty in the rural outskirts of Georgia, Molly's life was a constant struggle for survival. This harsh upbringing honed her survival instincts, instilling in her a fierce determination and a refusal to back down in the face of adversity. These traits would serve her well in her journey with the Hells Angels. Molly's entry into the Hells Angels was marked by a show of brute force. A local gang had been causing trouble for the Hells Angels, and Molly, eager to prove her worth, took it upon herself to deal with them. The ensuing brawl was brutal, but Molly emerged victorious, having single-handedly taken down the entire gang. This earned her the nickname Mad Dog, a testament to her ferocious fighting spirit and her refusal to back down. As a member of the Hells Angels, Molly's reputation only grew. Adam Lee Hall was a member of the Berkshire County, Massachusetts chapter of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. He was born on September 8, 1970, and became involved at the Hells Angels in the early 2000s. Paul was known for his involvement in various criminal activities including drug trafficking, extortion, and violent crimes. He was also known to be a particularly brutal enforcer for the gang, and his reputation of violence earned him the nickname Animal. In 2010, Paul was arrested along with 2 other Hells Angels members, David Shalou and Kais Vevis, for the slaying of 3 men who had been reported missing in 2011. The victims, David Glasser, Edward Frampton, and Robert Chadwell, were reportedly destroyed as a part of a dispute over a stolen Hells Angel vest. Paul Morley Eyeshade is a former member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, known for his involvement in criminal activities and his fugitive status from the law. He is among the most dangerous Hells Angels members ever to be known. Eyeshade was born on September 26, 1960 in Arizona and joined the Hells Angels in the late 1990s. Eyeshade was a member of the Hells Angels Cave Creek, Arizona chapter, where he was involved in various criminal activities including drug trafficking, extortion, and violent crimes. He was known to be a particularly brutal enforcer for the gang, and his reputation for violence earned him the nickname The Dog. In 2001, Eyeshade was indicted on charges of conspiracy to commit slang racketeering and other crimes as part of a large-scale federal investigation into the Hells Angels. Angie Anarchy Anderson was a person who not only accepted the turbulence but flourished in it in a world where chaos is the norm and order is frequently a far-off fantasy. Angie was surrounded by the grim reality of life because she was born in the center of Detroit. Her playground was the urban jungle, and it was here that she started her journey with the Hells Angels. Angie, a self-described anarchist, was intrigued by the concept of society without the restrictions of the established order. She belonged to the Hells Angels because of their contempt for social conventions and rebellious spirit. Her unique philosophy and unapologetic love for chaos earned her the moniker Anarchy and set her apart as a force to be reckoned with. Angie was known for her unpredictable nature. One could never quite tell what she would do next. It was this unpredictability that made her such a formidable adversary. She was a wild card, a variable that could disrupt the most carefully laid out plans. This was particularly evident in her skirmishes with rival gangs. Angie's unconventional tactics and unpredictable maneuvers often left her opponents disoriented and vulnerable, leading to many a victory of the Hells Angels. Former Michigan Hells Angels Motorcycle Club members Richard Smile and Rick DeVries were well known for their involvement in organized crime and his command of the group's Grand Rapids chapter. He was born on February 28, 1952, and in the 1970s, he joined the Hells Angels, evolved into one of the all-time most brutal members. DeVries rose swiftly through the Hells Angels ranks to take charge of the group's Grand Rapids chapter. The gang's involvement in many illegal operations, such as drug trafficking, extortion, and money laundering, increased under his leadership. DeVries was renowned for his brutal methods and readiness to use force to keep the Hells Angels in charge of their domain. In 1984, DeVries was arrested on charges of drug trafficking and money laundering. He was eventually found guilty of the charges and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. While in prison, DeVries continued to be involved in the Hells Angels' activities and was suspected of ordering the slayings of several individuals. Thank you for watching this. For more content, like and share our channel for more information.